Bắt đầu livestream rồi nha mọi người.
Should we start? Morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the presidential debate of 2019 RMIT Student Council. My name is Lynn, and I'm your host for today's event. So today we will be having the chance to listen to two presidential candidates right here to talk about the visions of the candidacies for the position of Student Council President year 2019. And joining us today, we have the honorable judging panel. Please welcome Mr. Steve Paris, the Executive Director of Students. Dr. Nguyễn Thị Quỳnh, the returning officer of this year's election and also today facilitator. She's currently in a meeting right now, so she will be a little bit late, but she will join us in a bit. We'd like also to welcome Mrs. Nguyễn Hồng Ngọc, Deputy Returning Officers, and also Ms. Melissa Delaney, the Senior Manager of Student Life Department. I would also like to welcome all of you, students and staff from RMIT who are here today as well. And also please extend your warmest welcome to our candidates right here. Võ Đoàn Thảo Nguyên, student of Bachelor of Communications from the Saigon South campus. And Phạm Sơn Tùng, student of Bachelor of Business also from Saigon South campus. Right. You guys nervous? Okay. Okay, so to start off the debate today, I would like to invite V, the current president of Student Council Generation 7, to give her welcome speech.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank you everyone for being here, even though it's raining outside. The first thing I really want to say is that I would send our deepest appreciations for Mr. Steve Paris and also Miss Melissa Delaney, that you guys already support us a lot through our years in Generation 7. And without you guys, we could not hold these events and activities with benefit for students in RMIT, in Saigon South campus and in Hanoi campus. I would like to thank you everyone for being here to listen to the debate between the future president of Student Council Generation 8 and for Nguyen and Tong be here today. I wish you good luck and try not to be so nervous because you might feel so, but I guarantee you this moment in here is one of the best moments you can have in your life, so try it.
Thank you.
I would like to first summarize the structure of today's presidential debate. There will be a total of 5 sections: opening statements. The second one will be the actual debate with the theme segments. The third one will be the candidate questions for each other. Next one will be the student question box, or getting questions from students and the audience. And the last but not least will be the closing statement. All right, so are you guys ready for the debate? All right, so we will first start with the opening statement from two candidates. Each candidate will have 1 minute to state their opening remarks. May I please invite Võ Đoàn Thảo Nguyên to make the first statement? And remember that there will be 1 minute for you, and I'll let you know when you can start.
Good afternoon, everyone here. Last year, I was one of you sitting over there and watching TV and unholy debate. And at that point, I didn't know anything about student council, so I was very impressed by how they answered all the questions. I think she answered very good. So I hope this year my answers can satisfy you and help you understand more about student council in general. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, may I please invite Phạm Xuân Tùng to make his statement? And you can start.
Okay. Hello everyone, I'm Phạm Xuân Tùng. I'm the presidential candidate of RMIT Vietnam Student Council. Basically, I'm studying international business program in RMIT University Vietnam. My vision is to know more about you, let you know more about us, and together we change. And thank you for being here. I'm quite nervous now, but when I see you guys, I'm feeling strong in my heart that I went to the position that I will come, and I know I can do it. And no matter who wins today, I think after this debate, you know who deserves the president position of RMIT Vietnam Student Council. You know you the best and who will be your representative. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tùng and Nguyen, for your statements. And now we will move on to the next part of the debate. So the next part will be the presidential debate with questions delivered from the judge panel. Follow the theme statements. The themes are 1, education and academic development; 2, student council financial management and uses; 3, community engagement and development; 4, international development; 5, media and communication within and between the Hanoi, Da Nang, and Saigon South student community; and last but not least will be the student rights and representing the voice of students. So right here we have prepared two pieces of paper that will that consists of the number of the questions that each student will be getting. So for example, candidate 1 will answer questions 1, 3, and 5, and then candidate 2 will get the questions number 2, 4, and 6. And these are totally random, and we will let the candidate choose the piece of paper right now. And each candidate will get an alternative turn to answer questions following the question asked by the judging panel. Again, each question has a total of 6 minutes for debate. Each candidate will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to state their opinions. And then after that, the opposing candidate has 1 minute to rebut, disprove, just state your arguments against the previous statement made by the other candidate. And then the 2 candidates will have 3 minutes and 30 seconds for open debate for that questions. So right now I will should I let Nguyen pick the piece of paper first? Okay, Nguyen. All right, so Tùng will be the one that get question number 1, 3, and 5, and Nguyen will get question number 2, 4, and 6. I would like to Ms. V to help with the mic. Thank you. And we will start with the first questions.
Okay, so what is more important for academic development, for how RMIT is going to develop? Is it should it be based on education research and the demand in the Vietnamese market, or should it be based on students' feedback and the expectations students have of academic programs.
Alright, so Tung, you will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to state your. Alright, sorry.
Okay, for me, the most important for me is for the student feedback and expectation. When I say this, it's not about, I'm not saying that education or research based on Vietnamese market demand is not important. But for me, to be an RMIT student, for me, RMIT should be focused on the student demand, what student really needs. It's not like we will adapt to everything they want. It's like we will give everything that they should deserve. So for me, as a president of RMIT Vietnam Student Council, I think in my vision is to know more about the students, to be a student representative. Therefore, student feedback and expectation for the academic program is much more important. But the education or research based on Vietnamese market demand, so that we familiar with Vietnamese student because it's RMIT University Vietnam is also important. Thank you.
Alright, thank you Tung for your answers, and now Nguyen, please deliver your argument.
I agree with you that student feedback should always be appreciated, but in my opinion, I believe that educational research is more important because, for example, I'm in professional communication, and when students go to university, they want to talk when they go out. So when I attend student staff meeting committee, the school let me know that what the market want from me. So if we always listen to student feedback, but when they go out, they learn what the way they want to, but they don't get a job, will they be happy? Or they learn the hard way, and then when they go out, they are exactly what the market want, and they have a good job. I think that's more important. Thank you.
Thank you, Nguyen. And now I would like to open the discussions for both candidates. And the time will be 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
I think there's misunderstanding. I'm also the educational research is quite important, but it's not important as the student feedback and expectation because we are change students. We give the three most important value in RMIT is to grow, is to get the opportunity and diversity, and to give them opportunity to develop their own. In both ways, we don't know which one is the hard way for them, but at least when they come out to the school, maybe they very quite hard to find the job they need, but really they are live by themselves. They will get the opportunity to develop in themselves. And I think no matter how hard, if you truly passionate in something, when you come to RMIT, you find something you really love. I think that's more important than no matter challenging when you go outside in the world. I think they can solve it. So the most important when I come here, educational research is important. Why I say that? Because only the RMIT educational research can help the student to give more the opportunity to find the passion in themselves, to find what they need to write that really want truly to live it for their whole life. That's more important in RMIT. Thank you.
Okay, so I agree with you that we should try to find the passion we love in university, but we must have a more general view, like what the student want when they graduate. What do they want? Do they want a job, a good job that they like, or do they want something more vague? And I want to ask another aspect to this question, which is that these two things, educational research and student feedback, are not always conflict with each other. From my experience, I know that, for example, in the future, from the students' staff meeting committee, I know that the PR and the advertising stream are going to be combined, and that is because of educational research that the school know that the industry wants to combine them. And as a student, I think it's a good idea. I like it. My expectation is that they should be combined because as I learn, I know that there are something overlap each other. So those two subjects are not always conflicting. We can balance that, but still, in my opinion, I still believe that educational research is more important.
Okay, as a student representative, and because you are also a student, I respect your opinion. And yes, there is some debate about whether we should focus on educational research and student feedback and expectation. But I still keep my opinion that for me, to help the student to find out what they are really good at, and using educational research to help them really find out what they need and what they love. So then they can jump out into the whole world. Because we are like, if we focus on educational research, we might not really understand what student needs. We sometimes assume that what we need, what the package needs, and what the student needs. I don't think so.
Sorry, but the time is up.
Yeah, okay.
You guys will have a little bit of time later to explain more about your answers. But now I would like to invite the judge to continue with the second question.
Question 2 is, what does inclusivity mean to you in order to coordinate, connect and collaborate the 3 campuses of Saigon South, Da Nang and Hanoi? Please explain your answer.
Alright, so for this time I will ask Ms. Green to start with the opinion. And remember that you will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to answer your questions.
Thank you for your question. In my opinion, inclusivity between 3 campuses of RMIT means that all students at all 3 campuses feel like they belong to one RMIT, one idea of RMIT. Like, for example, at the moment when we mentioned about RMIT, beautiful facilities and a lot of international students, it usually means Saigon Sound only. So when I become the president, I will want to celebrate the other features of other campus. Like for Da Nang, we have a beautiful beach, or for Hanoi, we have a beautiful lake. So we celebrate every beautiful and every good feature of every campus, so that the idea of RMIT become more inclusive, become more many things than just Saigon South.
Alright, thank you, Nguyen. And now I would like to invite Dung to deliver your opinions. And you will have 1 minute.
Okay, for this opinion, I'm totally agree with Nguyen about that. To be an RMIT student is, no matter where you are, you still an RMIT student and you still have that value in yourself. And for me, so it's I think inclusivity is mean like there are difference between Saigon South Campus, Da Nang, Hanoi, and yes, we have some common also in our research, in our activities, and in how to be an RMIT student. But yes, we have some difference. And yes, as a president, if I would become a president of RMIT Vietnam Student Council, I would try to make the specialties of each region, of Saigon, of Hanoi, of Da Nang, is rather they focus too much on Saigon South Campus, because although the Saigon South Campus is occupied for more than 5,000 students, the majority of the RMIT Vietnam students. But I believe that Hanoi and Da Nang should also be
Sinton, sorry, we have to interrupt you again. Your time is up. Thank you for your answers. And now we will open the discussions for two candidates. And the time will be 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
I think Tom and I have similar opinions about this question because both of our vision include connecting between student council and RMIT students and between RMIT students in different campus. So I would like to give you an example of what I can do when I become the president to connect the campuses. So we have an idea of, for example, holding a competition in Sign on Sound, and then the team in the top three, we can sponsor them to go to Hanoi campus for the next round of the competition, and we can do it on the overall round for Hanoi and Da Nang. And that's an idea that we think is possible to carry out if I become the president.
I think that's a good idea. However, I think to change station between Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi and Da Nang would be make a burden to our finance because what we use in RMIT National to be admitted that we are use a part of the tuition fee from the RMIT students, and I really believe what make a burden for that. So I think it would be better that we don't get to hold the whole competition in a free region. We just chose like this year we got in Saigon South campus, and next year we got in Hanoi, and next year we got in Da Nang. And after we chose that, they all will be fly to one city. Should be better than just going around in 3 cities. And in my experience, there's not much event in the world doing like that because it makes a very huge financial burden. Thank you.
So first of all, I think I need to clarify that SC budget is not from the tuition fee. It's from a separate kind of fee the student gives to SC. And because that's the student money, so I think they have all the right to deserve the best for their money.
I think it is misunderstanding here. I'm not saying that we not would use it. I am not the point is use is the best in an efficient and effective way. That's it.
All right, thank you for your open debate for the second questions. Now I would like to ask the judge panel to please carry out the third questions.
So question number 3, so are there any specific initiatives that you would like to implement if you are elected as the new president of Student Council to strengthen your Student Council role as the conduit between students and administrators at RMIT?
Alright, so this question will be answered by Dũng. You can start, and remember you will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to state your opinion.
This is partly my vision. Know more about you, to let you know more about us, and together we change. The first step I want to do is the 3 projects: the online consultant portal, the survey campaign, and the survey feedback, in order to understand you clearer. The second one I want to do is to let you know more about us. And us is not meant to be just RMIT Vietnam Student Council, but also RMIT, because some of our process is similar to RMIT. And if you don't know about us, how can you work with us? So I want to transparent some of our process so you will know us better. And the last thing I would do is to together we change. Is that I know your demand, I know more about you, and I let you know more. Although our system is different, but I think we can work it out together. And not we work it out together, not just between the student body and with the student council, but also with the student council, with the staff, with the administration, and other internal department of RMIT. Thank you.
Thank you, Dũng. And now, when please deliver your opinion. You have 1 minute.
To strengthen the role of student council as a liaison between students and administrators, there are 2 tasks we have to do. First is to listen very well from the students to know what they want, and second, to make sure that the school receives our feedback. And from my experience, because I've been to an education committee meeting of our school that gather all head of school, I know that the school is currently very willing to listen to what the student wants. So what we need to do now is to listen to them better. So if I elected, I will increase the number of survey participants from 1,000 to 2,000. And as you know that RMIT confession has a lot of complaints, but those complaints are not solved properly because students don't submit them properly to the right person, right email. So I will have a campaign to publicize the idea of if you want to complain something.
All right, well, thank you for your answer. The time is up, and now I would like to open for the discussion between the two candidates. Remember that you will have 3 minutes and 30 seconds to do so. You may start.
Okay, I will elaborate my vision clearer. There are some similar to me. Yes, I will make sure that I will change for the student ID to the RMIT administration, to relevant RMIT authorities. That relevant. What to do that? We have to make sure that to encourage people to write their speech. The point is, in the last generation, as an academic assistant of RMIT Vietnam Student Council Change 7, I realized that as some students, and even when we open the door for them and they come to our office, sometimes they don't really meet the right person for the right task. You really don't want to, when you get a club's matter, you don't really want to meet an academic officer. It's like that. So I want to solve that. So basically, I see that there's a private email for each of the office, and I see that we have our fan page with a lot of bridges. So why don't we let them know the contact of each office so they would know who to contact. And we also want to publicize the timeline of each officer in the week so that they can meet the right person at the right place. So they don't need to go to our office and ask something not irrelevant and some other student representative cannot answer.
All right, Tom, I will interrupt you and let Wayne so No, the total will be 2 minutes. Yeah, so you have around 2 more minutes to
I think it's a good idea that we have a fixed schedule of the officer in the office, but it had a drawback that because our schedule are not fixed, so it would be different, but I still think it's a very good idea.
We use Google Sheet, we can change it every week, and just people go into that link and they can see. I think in RMIT library they have done that, it is very effective.
That's a very good solution. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a reminder for the open discussions, it will be 3 minutes and 30 seconds for the both of you to have a chance to talk about your arguments and answers. So please be mindful about the time as well. All right. So right now we will move on to the fourth questions.
Whose rights and interests will you support? Protect the interests of more students or the maximum number of students, or the rights of an individual? How do you balance between those two, sometimes conflicting requirements?
All right, so for this time, we will start the answer first. You have 1 minute and 30 seconds to give your answers.
I believe if we take this question about numbers, then it will be difficult to think which side we should choose, like more people or less people, fewer people. But if we take this as the values that we choose, it will be easier. Like, are we a community that wants to protect which kind of values. For example, to be honest, I'm not really sure about in which circumstances those two will conflict each other. But for example, if the one individual has a problem with student right, but it's not favor the interest of the mass, but that's the kind of value we want to protect in RMIT, then I think that's what we should do.
Alright, thank you, Gwen. And now, please do your unit. Remember that you will have 1 minute to start.
In my opinion, I believe that the student rights of one individual is very important because the student rights are built based on the interest of many students in many generations. But there will be some exception for the interest almost in a lot of students. In exceptional case, they are not conflict to each other. And yes, as Mr. said, there will be conflicts. So I think in that case, will be flexibly treating in a harmony way. Thank you.
Alright, thank you, Dung. And now you will have 3 minutes and 30 seconds for open debate. You may start anytime.
I really want to talk with you about the case that you think those two will interest. Like, do you come up with any case that I don't?
Any laws are built, but there sometimes it's not perfect. And as soon as the student rights are written in the constitution, in the policy of RMIT, there would be some laws they are not perfect in some cases. And there would be time. If I was as a student representative, if I would be elected as a president, I would try to solve that case in the way as a human right to do. So yes, we have the interest of a lot of students is important. I must say it's not important, but the student rights are built on more than that in some time, but it's not perfect. In this case, I would try to consider about the interest of most students, and then if they would take time, I would talk to administration to change the policy in some specific case if need, or in a many case if they have through a lot of consideration.
Alright. We will now moving on to the fifth questions. Josh, if you please.
For our presidential candidates, question 5. How do you intend to use your position to make your organisation, the Student Council, more effective?
This question will be answered by Dung, so you may start anytime, and the time will be 1 minute and 30 seconds.
I have mentioned about my vision is to know more about you, let you know more about us, and together we change. That's how I would make my vision to make my organization the council more effective. So I would discuss about the organizational culture in the student council that I would try to relay as a president. I believe my behaviors and will affect my other student representatives, and how I will influence them will affect the way that I will try to treat their subordinate and as the whole student council will treat their students. So I want my organizational culture that I want to build is to listening and respect to the other students, no matter their difference. Because you know what? Because every one of us in this school have their own specialties. That sometimes we cannot compare between them. So they need to be listened, need to be respected. And the mission of a student representative is more than it's just to become a liaison between the administration and the student body. So really important things have to try 3 times. Really needs to listen and respect you no matter your difference. Thank you.
Alright, thank you, Dung. And now I would like to invite Nguyen to deliver your arguments. Remember, you will have 1 minute to start. You can start now.
So in my opinion, there are 2 aspects of student council that I noticed that can be more effective in the next generation. First one is the activity within student council. Like for example, in the last generation, each office, although they are separate, but they always have to like when the Law and Society office have an event, then the Rights and Welfare office cannot have an event because the activity office and media office would be overloaded. So if I elected, I want to strengthen the ability of activity and media office so that many offices can in student council can have events maybe at the same time or overlapping so that we can have more events in one semester. And secondly, I want to talk about financially effective. I noticed that the logistics in SE is not really well managed right now. Like we have 3 Caesars, but we don't know that we have 3 Caesars, and we go by.
The time is up, so I want to interrupt you. Right now, we will have the open debate with you, and the time will be 3 minutes and 30 seconds. You may start.
I will be elaborate about the collaborate together we change in my vision. Together we change mean together with us, the student council, the RMIT, the internal department of RMIT, and the student body, including clubs and society. I mean, we are student representatives, basically, and the most thing that we are really good at is to become student representative. So as I really understand your demand, it's more than we just try to. It's more than just we try to do it by ourselves. But we understand that in some specialty case, if I need all the clubs, all the students, because they are specialized in us. So I want to try to collaborate between the student council with other clubs. And so if, for example, for media, we are not really specialized in media. So I will ask for marketing communication, visual, mass media, and so on, if there's other clubs, if it needs. I think the point what together we change, we are a student representative, and we cannot do it alone because we represent you, the students. Thank you.
So can you please specify in which way that your vision will make SE more effective?
I think that is the most effective. Like you not really do something you're really good at, so you ask the other to help you. That's how we reduce a lot of financial burden, and we use the finance that the student, the RMIT offer us with a more efficient way, and we will increase the quality of the events. You will give the events to the one that the best they can do it, not to really do it because you try to when you're not really good at something and you really try to do it. Compared to you really want to get the help of someone and just try to collaborate with them, we more use the financial way more efficient and effective. That's the kind of how I can get not just effective in the student council but also efficient.
So my vision is also to connect, include, and sustain. And in connect, I also include that I want to collaborate with clubs more, but in order to reduce clubs' financial pressure. And you said that you want to collaborate with club to reduce SE's financial pressure. So I don't know how you can do it.
It's simple. You like in the factory, if you use our worker without professional skill, the productivity would reduce. That is also the same for events. So yes, that's how I reduce the financial burden.
Can you please give a specific example for your argument?
Like media, really try to get the media. You really have to get the first burden to media in RMIT Vietnam Student Council. In some big event like Le Mans, you maybe have to use high professional media from external, and that will get a financial burden. And if you ask for other media clubs, would be more effective. I'm not saying that I will not give them better benefits, but together they will get experience and they will get the benefits for them too. But try to do as an RMIT Vietnam Student Council is to boil the activity into a lot of all students in RMIT, not just do RMIT Vietnam Student itself.
Would you like to conclude the open discussion?
Yes.
Yeah.
You say that you want to pay people from the club lower than the market price.
Definitely no. I consider about that, but when I say if you ask for
Like,
external
yeah,
and
you
you
said that
don't have anything for
we
RMIT
hire.
students.
We have.
Yeah, would you like to conclude in a statement instead of questions so we can move on to the next question? Would you like to? Maybe not.
I think we have very different views for this question.
Right. Right. So we will now move on to the 6 questions, and that will be answered by Wayne. Right. Sorry.
Okay, so this is the last question, which is always also my favorite. Regarding of the budget student council, how would you ensure it is best used for benefit of greater student body?
Alright, ma'am, so it's your question, so you will start first, and remember that you will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to do so, so you may start anytime. And yes. Thank you.
So even if I am elected to be the president of student council, I will not be the person who can answer this question alone because this budget does not belong to me or to student council, but it belongs to every student of RMIT. So to know what's the best use of the budget is to ask the student and to let them know, to communicate with them better about what the student council and what are we do with your money. So I am, as the media officer of Student Council Generation 7, I am confident to tell you that we use your money very transparently. But I do know that many of you feel like it's not clear enough how we report your budget to you. So if I'm elected, I will make the general meeting more fun, more interesting, that you guys come to know how we use your budget, and you guys are the ones to suggest us what to do with your resources so that we can give you the best thing.
Alright, thank you, ma'am. And now I would like to invite you to deliver your argument, and you will have 1 minute to do so.
Because when you asked me that whether I will pay the all media in RMIT with lower than the market rate, I will say no, definitely no. I will say that I will pay really make benefit for the better price. But the point is, we are got to ask for a stranger outside the RMIT. It will be not really good and not ensure anything and not giving any experience for them. The point is to connect every student in RMIT. And for the budget, yes, I also transparently all the process for you guys. But I think the most important is the way I want to encourage you to the productivity of to continue to collaborate with you guys. When I go into interview with other students, when I make for the election marketing material, one student asked me that he don't want to increase the tuition fee of RMIT students. I'm thinking about that. I really think about that. So I don't really try to make a burden to what the money you are using. It could be used for a better way to upgrade RMIT for example. And the way to doing that is to not RMIT International not do it by itself, but to do it together with all the students, with all the internal department of RMIT. And that's how I increase productivity. Thank you.
Now we will move on to the open discussions for these questions. You will have 3 minutes and 30 seconds to do so.
I must clarify this because I don't want the students who are here today misunderstand about what we do for the design of the moon. For the design of the moon, we had 2 main parts. The first one is the design. We did hire an RMIT student, not a stranger, not an outsider. And for the video, we had a collaboration with Billboard Vietnam, and it's a collaboration. It's not a pet job. So I still don't understand why you use L'amour for an example of how we spend our budget, not accurately? Because I think we did.
First of all, I don't specific any events of previous generation of RMIT Vietnam Student Council. I just say what I should do. So I thank you for your sharing. And I still keep my opinion that I will try to use internal human resource from other students. And that is not like I want to hire you, I want to collaborate with you. It's a two benefit, two sides, not one side. Thank you.
I must say that you did say the more. And
No, sorry, but I don't say anything about it.
And when I think of this question, I have another thought in my mind that at the moment, Student Council mostly reach out to new students, newbie, because we had birthday, and birthday is very successful, 1,000 students for semester C. So I think, and L'amour also, L'amour is 1,200 participants, but mostly are new students. So I think to make sure that our budget is best used for the greater, the bigger student body, we should reach out to senior students of our school for more projects that they may be more interested, like industry related or career related.
Yes, I can do it. And I'm not trying to deny any achievement of RMIT Vietnam Student Council Gen 7. They have made wonderful achievement. And for me, they can do it in my way. I will try to do it better. And yes, I would try to reach out the senior, the RMIT Korean industry relation, the student academic success, and other internal RMIT department. And yeah, I will try to reach more than that. Let me say some a little bit. It's like I'm trying to student representative, and there is no guarantee. I can have no guarantee to you that I will make it the best. But in my vision, I believe that together, if we do it together more frequently, we would try to increase the productivity and would be more use the financial finance for RMIT more better in an effective and efficient way. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, so that was all the 6 questions that we have prepared for today's debate. Is there anything else would the 2 candidates would like to add on or clarify to any of the questions of this previous 6 questions? You might do so right now if you would like to. Would you like to do so? No? Okay. Yeah.
I'm not really talk much about how to actually experiment the financial process, and I will tell you about the reason why I do it. Because like I said, I want you to know more about us. And actually, when I say all the process, the financial process of RMIT Vietnam Student Council, I would say I admit that it's very complex, and then it would be much more difficult for us to do it. The system between us is quite different. So I will try to transparently it. I would say to publicize the core of some of the core conducts of our core conducts, so you know what we do. When I go with an interview in the RMIT, when I do for the election marketing material, and I ask them one question, what do you know about the student council? And one person say to me, they are like anonymous. I don't want to make sure that like we are the student representative, and more than a lot of students in RMIT don't really know who are us. They don't really know who their student representative. By then, I want to change that.
All right, thank you for your answers. And now we will move directly to the 3rd part of the debate, which is where the candidate will get to questions to one another. So each candidate will address 2 questions to the opposing candidate, and each candidate will have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to respond to each question. So right now, I would like to ask Pak Sơn Tùng to ask Võ Hoàng Thảo Nguyên your first questions, and remember that you will only have 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Nguyen will have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to answer the questions.
Okay.
You might ask a question.
My first question for Dr. Anthony is I know that you run this election not just by yourself, but with your groups. So, and your group is also elect for all the position of RMIT Vietnam Student Council, right? So the question I want to ask you is, if if you go into a president, and the other positions are not in your group, because to my knowledge, that each member of the students council is independent in opinion and is elected independently. So maybe they will got a different vision for you. So as a president of RMIT Vietnam Student Council, how would you work with them? And how could you ensure that the member in your group, some member in your group, that would work well with all the people that elected by other students?
Right now, when Chris answers questions, remember that you will only have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to do so.
Thank you for your question. I really appreciate that you bring this topic up. And it's actually not a new thing because last year the same thing happened when different team elected, and then we have people who used to be our opponents. But I think the thing that connect us all together is that we all want the best for RMIT students. So that's what most important. Vision is just for when you run the election, so that people have a general idea of what you want. But most of all, and first of all, you have to carry out what the student wants. So we actually have one vision, and that is to serve the RMIT students.
I want to ask is like you have different visions. We are all trying to make RMIT better, but we have different visions to how to do it. So there would be different versions. So you cannot say that your group will have the same vision like us. So I just how can you collide all three visions together?
Okay, so to be specific, but your vision is to make the student no more student council and student council no more students. And my vision is that to connect, include, and sustain. And to connect means that to connect with the student, connect with the student club. So we're not that different. Actually, my vision includes your vision.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Alright, thank you. And now it is Ron Howard's turn to ask your questions to Lu.
My question for you is that you have very interesting ideas, and I think it's very cool ideas about how we can collect the student opinions. But you haven't mentioned a lot about how you will make what the student want and need come true. Like after you collect the opinion, how you will solve it efficiently.
That's a good question. I really want to answer. First of all, when I run this election, I'm not really specific any idea what to do in the future because I know. Then now I'm the presidential candidate and I don't really understand you guys. After the first step and the second step, you know the more you then you know more of us and we know more you guys. So yes, I will conduct the data analysis on that. But I will not do it alone. And I think that the data that I try to survey, I will try to elaborate this more. I will try to publish some key features, but not really in case of personal information of students, but about the statistics of a whole population of RMIT, so that not just us RMIT Student Council, but also the clubs knows what the majority of RMIT students wants. So after that time, we will try to analyze it and we come up with ideas about how the event works. We will try to find which club, which internal department of RMIT is specialized on that, and we try to collaborate with them. That's how I increase the productivity, and that's how I make RMIT Vietnam Student Council work in an effective and efficient way. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer.
Alright, thank you. And now I would like to ask Phạm Xuân Tùng to ask questions. And you may begin. And remember that this will be your last question too.
So my question for you is, they sometimes we need to hire people, not just hire. We work with other people in RMIT, and how can you make benefits for them at our events? That's it.
So, your question is that sometimes student council needs to hire people.
Not just hire, but just work together with them. So how can you bring benefit to them? Because what I know, to be collaborate or to work together is a two-side benefits. So what the benefit you bring to them?
So you mean what kind of welfare and benefit we can bring to the people who work for student council as officer and as students, right?
As the one who work with them, but yes, it's true. But not the whole student, but the student who work with you. What do you do to benefit them?
It really depends on the case you're talking about. If you're talking about the assistant and the officer of student council generation 8, there's one thing I really want to do because at the moment in the student council constitution, we don't consider assistant as an official member of student council, only officer. And we have some rules that make assistants feel like they are outsider, like assistant cannot be in the office alone and things like that. So if I elected, I really want to change the constitution so that assistants can feel like they are a part of student council. What they do, they can be proud of. They are a part of student council.
Okay, thank you for your particular question, but what I ask is much more general. In a way, it's not just about assistance, it's not about the clubs, the society, internal department that you try to work with, what would you benefit them, and not just about assistance. And yes, I know what the reason why assistant cannot be in the office. I really know why, because the main responsibility for all this is the student representative. And yes, although they are assistant, there are some rules cannot be broken. But in some case, I would consider about that. But I think it's not a really good if you try to make it become casual.
Could you give me a specific example when the kind of organization that you want me to answer? Because it's very dependent from department to student club. I cannot answer as a whole.
As a presidential candidate, you can answer it, and you can answer it in a detailed way. And for me, if I have to with the clubs, I will try to make some benefits for them, and not just about it's not just about make some benefits for them, and it's also about the branding, about experience, and sometimes it will be somehow some things related to cash, social cash, or something else.
Instead of asking another question, can we continue the last question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we were talking about when we collab with clubs, what benefit should I give them if I'm elected? So I think it is all about negotiation. Each club is different and each organization is different. We can talk to them openly about what they want, what they need, what we can provide, what we can afford. And if we all agree, then we can start a collaboration. It don't have to be a fixed term or vision on that.
I totally agree with you. Okay. Thank you for your answer.
All right, so I guess the last discussions/questions has ended the third stage of the debate, and now we will move on to the fourth stage where candidate will be answering questions from the students. So each candidate will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to answer the questions or just to state their opinions, and then the opposing candidate will have 1 minute to review or disprove or state their arguments. Right now we do have staff members and also students right here in Melbourne at the debate, and I would like to draw all the attention to you guys instead if you have any questions for any of the candidates here.
I have a question about for Sơn Tùng. Yeah, do you think that you give money, the cost, the commitment for the club, but do you think that you over promise with club? You give many benefits for the student, but in RMIT community, we not only have the RMIT clubs. I mean, not only club, we have also like individual here.
Thank you for your questions, and Sơn Tùng, you will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to answer the questions.
I will try to elaborate your question more. Like you guys say that I'm over authority, right? Okay. I think I don't think so, because what I try to make benefits for them is they are also students. And yes, one of the mission of the RMIT Vietnam Student Council, one of the mission of the student representative is to give them to really help them, to really support them. And yes, and I don't think that I will over authority. And if you think mention about the sponsorship or something else, I would say I would also support them in not just about the physical material, but also about the information that they need, and about the branding and about the marketing and a lot of things else. And there's a lot of ways to doing it without over authority. After all I do is to try to make a better place for RMIT students, and they are RMIT students too. Thank you.
Thank you, Tùng, for your answer. And now when you will have 1 minute to reboot if you would like to.
I think your idea is very cool, but I think I have maybe a better solution. You keep saying that you will give this and give that to club, but I think we should have a more transparent way to decide what we give and who we give it to. So in my policy, maybe you guys have not read it, I want to support club about the equipment, and I want to open equipment pitching, design event pitching for club. So when they need something, they can go to student council and then they pitch the idea, and then it's all very transparent, and we can decide to give the support to them based on facts, not just our opinion.
Try to give anything without my opinion. I think that if they have done, they deserve something. And I'm not trying to go in detail like you about the equipment, because I know they did something else, and that's something else I may not know. I'm not a president yet, and I have not conducted any surveys. I'm not yet need to ask anything else about you, and so I don't really know what you need. The only thing I can do if I'm elected as a president, I will try to negotiate. I will try in my authority to help them everything if I can as a student council member, as a student representative. So I'm not trying to specific anything, because I cannot say anything in the future that I don't know. Thank you.
Tùng and Nguyen, and now is there any other questions from the audience?
So hello, my name is Chi, and I'm the team leader of the survey project on the 7th generation. and I'm very happy that both of you find take interest in that project. And I want to specifically know that which aspect would you focus on in your future project, and how would you attract more people to you?
Alright, so thank you for your question. It's a question for both of the candidates, right?
Yes.
Right. So, may I? Would you like to go first? Yeah.
And remember that you will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to give your answers.
First of all, thank you for your question. I must say that I appreciate your effort for 1,000 response. I'm not saying anything about. I just say that I want more, and I believe that we can do it because in the last generation we had only 2 weeks to collect 1,000. So I think if we can start sooner and we can spend it all around like 1 month, then I think 2,000 is absolutely possible.
All right, thank you, Nguyen. So you might begin answering the questions.
My answer, the most important issue of RMIT Vietnam Student as a student representative to understand you guys and to be the liaison with the administration and the member of the student body. So yes, I will focus the budget explain into my first step, no more about you, into the student survey campaign and into the student feedback and in the online consultant model. And 2 or 3 projects are not really money consumed. And so yeah, and I will use the last money to try to collaborate to be able to really have events that much more collaboration with other clubs and internal department in RMIT. And to specify with you nothing about how can I really understand you guys. I think the most important of RMIT Vietnam Student Council today is like the boundaries between the student representative and with the student is too large. I want to make that the student can meet the student student representative much more easier. That's how I do. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tung. Nguyen, if you would like to repeat Tung's answers, you may also do so, and then also that applies to Tung as well. So you will have 1 minute to do that, if you would like to.
Thank you for your questions. Any other questions from the audience?
I have a question for Thảo Nguyên. You mentioned in the debate that you want the transparency finance process in general meeting. But right now we have a general meeting, and as a member of Student Council Generation 7, I know that generation work doesn't work effectively. So how do you solve it if you want to follow the vision in General 7 that want the transparency, but general meeting doesn't work effectively like that? We have any solution?
Thank you for your question. I have 2 solutions right now. The first one is to send the report to mass mail the report to every student. We intended to do it last generation, but we didn't. So I think this time we should mass mail the financial report to every student. So whether they come or not, they can receive it. And secondly, because most of the complaints about our budget come from student club, so I think we should make it a compulsory for clubs to attend our general meeting, so that they can understand our spending.
Okay, thank you, Nguyen, for your answers. You now will have 1 minute to repeat the agreement if you would like to.
I really think it's a good idea if you make it compulsory. Like try to inform others and you kind of you make them force them something that they really have to know. I don't think that works. Yes, works right. The general meeting is not really effective, and it's the symbol is like why we have to try to announce everything in the last semester in general meeting. Why don't we just announce it sooner on our social network, on our fan page? We don't need to try to publicize all the data, but at least the core conducts we can do it. Somehow that is not, it's just what they really know about us, so they cannot talk about us like anonymous. Like they really know what we do for them as a student representative. We do something for them and they really don't know about it. So it's our permission to really inform them about that, not their permission to listen about us.
All right.
Thank you.
The audience, would you like to have questions to any of the answers? No? When would you like to respond to his?
Yes, as the media officer of Student Council Generation 7, I really like your idea to publicize the general meeting data on social media, because we did do that last year, but the effect is not very good. So I think mass mailing is still a should. And about the compulsory for clubs to join a general meeting, I must clarify that only compulsory for clubs that want to receive sponsorship from Student Council. If you don't really want to engage with us financially or something, you can skip it.
Just can send them an email about it, and they right to know about it or not.
Yes,
Not like
of course. I mean, I said that I will mass mail, so every student will receive an email, including students in the clubs. But if you're at a meeting, you can raise question and your concern at the moment, so that we can solve it and we are clear about each other, not like we misunderstanding each other.
What I want to ask is like why they have a lot of ways, of communication you can use. Why you have to use the general meeting to announce some things, like to answer something. They can send you the question into the social network, on the Facebook, on the email. The idea of the mass email is effective. I just want to additional way to on the social network so you know. But I don't really like the idea that you try to make general meeting become a compulsory means of communication between the member of the student body, between the club, even if they are sponsored by you. The point is we as a student representative, we have to inform them, not trying to make, we don't have any permission to force them to listen to us. Thank you.
Because there have been a lot of misunderstanding between student council and club, so I think it's the moment to make it compulsory. I absolutely respect your opinion about not wanting to make it compulsory, but still, I do think that we need to have something to understand each other more.
We will try to encourage them to know more about us, but don't try to use your authority to make sure that just because you are a student representative and you force them to attend that meeting I believe that is unacceptable. There's a lot of other means of communication and lots of ways that we can do it. And yes, there are rumors about us. And as a student representative, I think that's our responsibility to solve that. Not the responsibility to attend us, to not get any misunderstanding about us. Thank you.
Okay, so
You just mentioned about rumors. So my question here is, are you planning to solve all the rumors about student council? What are you going to do about it?
I'm not trying to say it would be impossible to solve all the rumors. And rumor is unpredictable to avoid. But if I am elected as president, I will try to solve it. And I won't no matter if I'm a student, I really know the feeling of that. It's like it's like if I become a student representative and I understand not even a person cannot solve all the rumors. I'm a human being, but I will try to do my best. And that my best is not including with compulsory to the student to have to be listened to us. It's their rights. And we are the student representatives, we are elected by them. We are voted by them, we are believed by them. So we are believed them to do something better for them. So we don't have any permission to force them to listen to us. It's our permission to inform them of us. And yes, no human being can solve all the rumors. There would be rumors. But if I am become a president, I will try to solve that rumor. And to solve that rumor, my first step is to understand about it, to transparency what the student council do. But it's okay. It's usual when you got a rumor, then you don't know anything about RMIT Vietnam Student Council. Like they don't really know about us. They think like we are work anonymous, and I don't want that to be happen. Thank you.
Okay, so actually you say that not a lot of students know about RMIT Student Council. But my question here is what is your sample size? If you just ask 6 students about it, then it may not is very realistic. But if you ask around 1,000 students about it, then I trust you. Okay, and so now I would like to know more about Rin. How about your opinion about it?
So before I answer Miss Ruby's question, may I say something to state my point about Dong telling that I'm overusing my authority? I think of it as a kind of partnership. You are sponsorship when you and another person deal with something. I think both sides should respect each other by at least coming to the general meeting and student council coming to the club's events. That respect between partners, not authority. And to answer your question about rumors, I will say that I will try to solve conflicts, real conflicts, like conflicts between student council and student clubs, conflicts between student council and students. But I will not try to explain all the rumors because usually the number of people who know about the rumors is not that large. And whenever student council announce something, there's thousands of students, and people will be like, oh, I didn't know about it, now I know about it. So you have that rumor. So I believe that rumors is rumors. You have to live with it, but conflict should be solved.
Yeah, I think that's right. Rumors are not very important. Like, if you do it very well, people will notice it, and people will just like share rumors anymore. But if you don't know about it, you can have rumors about you. And also, don't make a really good part about like reaching out to students to come to the general meeting. But how we do is we should reach out to them. But you can also go to the club community to share about the finances all that. You don't need to come to talk to them. We can go there, reach out to them.
Totally agree with you. And for one thing I want to say more is about it's about the rumors. And about the sample size. Yes, when I do that, the sample size is very low. It's not say anything. Well, I think anyone in this in the Melbourne theater and anyone who are reading to see watch us doing this debate, I think if you really have the same feeling like me, like that RMIT Vietnam Student Council is not really well known by other people, and even you know about RMIT Vietnam Student Council, you really don't know what else to do. So you can vote on me to make sure that my revision is implemented, and you will know about us. Thank you.
Wayne, would you like to add in anything else? Right. Thank you, Mrs. Ruby, for your questions. Any other questions from the audience, from staff members as well? If you have any questions. May I ask one question then? Right, so RMIT Vietnam pride ourselves as one of the most, if not the most diverse university in Vietnam. Specifically, mentioning about international students. Unfortunately, I don't think that they haven't, been able to get support from student council. To be more specific, most of the time they will come from the international office, the international student support program, and I know that this for the next generations, you guys will be having the new positions of international officer, right? So just want to know how would you go about improving that, because student council serve all students, not just local students. And also, how would you making sure that the new positions will be known to the international students? Yep. So who would like to answer first? That question will be for both of the candidates. Right, so Moin will answer the questions, and you will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to do so.
Thank you for your question. I had some international friends, and I also noticed that they have a lot of difficulty to integrate into our community. That's why in my vision I include the word include. So connect, include, and sustain. I hope that with the new position, we can improve the international inclusion in our community. And by that, I think that we should hold more projects that interest the international students, like projects about Vietnamese culture or Vietnamese experience. And in the last year debate between TV and Anh Hùng, we also discussed this problem, and the both candidates said that the problem is because we're shy to speak English, but in my experience, it's not just about the language, it's also about the culture difference, barriers. Sometimes I feel hard to understand my international friends, so I think we should have more projects to improve the culture intelligence in our campus so that everyone can include each other better.
Thank you, Nguyen. And Dong, would you like to answer questions?
Yes, I would say that I'm totally agree with in this case about the issues, and also my vision is not go outside of the issues. I think to know more about you, to let you know more about us, and together we change. It's also applied for international students. It's like we understand more about the issues, and it's like we want to understand more. Like we just said that in her opinion, that he understand they have not just about difficulty in language, but about something else, about the culture, the diversity. And yes, we will try to research on that, and we try to elaborate together. We change. Together is not like together is also include international students to work with us. And as a student representative, I encourage diversity. Which one is one of the 3 values of RMIT University. And so I'm really encourage international students in my term as a president to join with us, to work up with us together. And I believe that would be a good experience about the Vietnamese culture for you also. And for Vietnamese students, if you have a chance to work with other international students, it will be very good experience for you. So you can work in an international field, and after you leave RMIT. Thank you.
All right, thank you. May I ask a follow-up questions? For both of you, so far you have been giving out a lot of nice ideas about that, but they are not very specific toward the needs of international students. To be honest, I am working closely with them, and a lot of the time, the support that we give is only for their external needs, if that makes sense. So, like if they have questions about like classes, programs, any like basic needs that they need in their daily life, they will come to us. But more than that, we are not students, so there's a thing that we cannot understand. So what I'm trying to look for right now is that as a student's representative, is there any specific plan for you to actually help them out? Because once again, I also mentioned about the international officers, and I would like to know more about the visions of having that specific positions, because it is new this year.
So as a student, there's one specific policy that I think I can apply if I'm elected, is that I've heard from my international friends that they really want to join the student clubs in our school, but when they join the club, their friends don't speak English in the club. So for a policy that can improve international inclusion in our community, maybe student council can give a bonus point about sponsorship for the clubs that have international students in the club. So that's the way the international student can feel like they are part of RMIT.
Yes, in this part, I totally agree with me. But in generally, I would try to bring more benefits for incentive. Actually, it's incentive for every RIT student, every organization, clubs, society, department that are include working with international students. That's what I'm trying to encourage. And I'm really thank you for just sharing the idea about how the international student struggles. And I will, as a president, if I'm elected as a president of RMIT Vietnam Student Council, the first step is to know you. In that step, I will try to analyze what you have said to us, to really find in the third step, to really together we change, to work with them, to help them to become one of the RMIT community. And that's the two side benefit for both international students and Vietnamese students. Thank you.
All right. Sorry. One last one. Just a follow-up comment to put an end on these questions. Is that it's just for if you're elected as the president. I think that personally, I would want to hear more about your plan of collaborating with the student life department or the international office or the mobility of transfer students. Just to really get into the whole connections and collaboration that we are trying to build here in RMIT Vietnam. So again, that's just one of my comments for your future plan if you as the president. Right.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
All right. Any other questions from the audience? All right. Since there are no other questions from the audience, I would like to end the third stage of the debate, which is the Q&A. The fourth stage. And now, so we are moving to the final stage of the presidential debate, which is your closing remarks. And each candidate will have 45 seconds to deliver your closing remark. And would you please be the first person to deliver your closing remarks?
Thank you everyone for coming here, and thank you to anyone watching the live stream right now. The voting round is over now. You can start voting for me from now on. And it ends on midnight next Monday. So please vote for me to connect, include, and sustain. Thank you.
I'm Phạm Xuân Tùng. I'm running for president of RMIT Vietnam Student Council. My vision is to know more about you, let you know more about us, and together we change. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to our debate. I hope after the debate you have known who is your representative, and as we said, the voting ground is open now. So please hurry. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
All right, thank you both for the closing remarks. Thank you for your closing remark and also for the debate that you both have given us. And to everyone here, please note that the second round of voting for the presidential voting between Thảo Nguyen and Sơn Tùng from Science South Campus right here start right now. It's open, and so please go and vote and support for your candidate. And once again, thank you so much for attending the presidential debate today of the Student Council election 2019, and have a good rest of your day. Thank you.